We've been doing these health talks for almost a year now. We do them twice a month. We just have different speakers and different topics. So nobody knows what the topics are because everybody gets to pick their own topic. What it does is it forces us to get more educated. Today, if I'm going to get it right, Donna, it's mental awareness.
Yeah, brain health in respect to heavy metal toxicity.
I am going to be coming up here very soon, 57 years old, and I've never been on any medications. I love that. I've always thought out the natural ways. It doesn't mean that I haven't battled with things, but anytime I have, I've said, okay, how can I combat this naturally? Donna is kind of the lead off on everything, and then I'm just going to share a little bit the products that we have, and we don't have a lot of products, because we have the best of the best products, and they really work. These are the only products I've been using for the past about 4 years, I guess, and they continue to work. I love it. Before, I would get a product, and it would work for 30 days or maybe 60 if I was lucky, and then it would stop working, and I would be like, dang it, I knew it. I'd have to try something else. I'm excited. Donna and we've been running together for probably like 3 years, maybe. I think it's been, she has a real heart for educating people, and I learn so much from Donna. She's always diving in and learning more and more, and she gets to teach us. So today, we're going to hear from Donna. Thank you for coming on, and just excited to hear what Donna has to say today. Take it away, Donna.
Thank you, Shelley. So I want to just also applaud Tom and Shelley. They started out being our business mentors and then became dear friends. I'm really excited. A lot of you I'll see in a couple of weeks at Atlanta, because we believe in pouring into each other and lifting each other up. And that's something that Tom and Shelley are passionate about doing from the very heart of who they are, is raising leaders, but also from their heart of loving Jesus, just pouring into people and building them up. And they're adventurous too. I think all of us who trust in the Lord, it's a fantastic adventure in trusting Him. So they just sold their home in Mount Vernon, Washington, where they were on how many acres, Shelley?
10 acres.
Are living in a trailer currently in Spokane, and their one child is getting married here in just a few short weeks, and then they're going to hit the road again and travel more. And they've done mission work, both local and foreign. And I'm always excited when we can see you. And God keeps us connected. So one of the reasons I chose this topic is that my dad is on a cognitive slide. And I've always been a why person. I don't really find a lot of comfort in, we don't know what causes, right? I mean, I don't know that they know what causes, for the most part, Alzheimer's. But when you start digging into it, you don't even have to do in-depth research. You're like, well, that completely makes sense to me. Like what in this, and heavy metal toxicity, and the word toxicity is when we get that constant buildup. Our bodies, as we know, we're bombarded daily with lots of things, environmental causes. We know what the Bible says, that our world is actually groaning for redemption. Of course, we can expect those things to happen, but God makes a way. So that's what we believe. So if we can go to the first slide. There we go. So it's just the topic of today's brain health in relation to metal toxicity buildup. I have to say, as I was preparing for this, really ignorance is not bliss. Knowledge is power. And I was laying in bed after doing this research going, oh my gosh, this is so a lot. But at the same time, like I said, if I believe that God makes the way, because we don't ever want to present a problem without presenting a solution. We are going to present a solution for sure. So just as this slide says, every day, and again, bear with me because the solution is coming. Every day we're breathing, eating, drinking, and touching certain materials that are exposing us to small amounts of toxic heavy metals. And in small amounts are not a problem. What the problem is because we don't understand where these are coming from, is that it accumulates over time and it really can cause some substantial damage to our health. And then the problem is we know in our bodies when we're not feeling right, when things aren't going well, and sometimes, we can go to the doctor and we're not being diagnosed correctly for what's going on. And we're all about getting to the root cause, because in many things in life, we're only medicating the symptom, and certainly in the medical field. So if you can just keep in mind, it's coming through the air we breathe, the food we eat, and the things that we're touching. So these are some of the culprits. And, when I saw a battery, I'm like, how many of you used to test a battery by sticking your tongue on the end of the battery.
Did it?
Anybody else used to do that?
Yes.
What kind of nonsense was that? I know. I think it was to see if the battery was still effective. It looks like stick your tongue in the end of it. All that. Yeah. If you're doing that, don't do it anymore. Okay. So some of the heavy metal toxins that we are touching, breathing, arsenic, cadmium, mercury. How many of you had mercury fillings back in the day? I did. I had mercury fillings. I don't know how long they're in there before they discovered they weren't good and they had to pull them out. Lead and aluminum. And I saw aluminum and I'm like, well, I use aluminum foil. Is that, something? And again, I was starting to feel overwhelmed after, because I spent a couple hours going through this and then went to bed and I was laying awake like, ooh, I'm like, wait, stop. That's not the reason behind this. But arsenic, cadmium, mercury, lead, and aluminum. It would be worth looking into aluminum foil and seeing. These slides here basically are showing the ways that we are having exposure to these, whether it's by ingesting or whether it's by touching food. We know that our food has been treated, pesticides and the things that are to make, say, an apple, and understanding marketing. When we go to the store, we don't want to see an apple that's modeled. We want a nice, shiny apple. But you've got to consider how are they treating the produce and the food that we're eating to make it look marketable. We're going to talk a little bit about vaccines and injections. And of course, when we're having something shot into our body, it goes directly into our bloodstream. Cosmetics. I was just with a friend who I shared some information with because she still loves using perfumes and things of that nature. And it's just educating her and she was interested. So a lot of our beauty products I had shared in another girl talk I did, the Toxic 12. You can Google that in relation to skincare. And again, our skin is the largest pore. It's going directly into our bloodstream. So you've got being a label reader, it might feel overwhelming, ladies, but really being aware within your beauty products, lotions, shampoos, cosmetics, perfumes, all that stuff. I chose a picture here of somebody sleeping because mattresses. These things are really in plain sight. We just don't understand like these slides until we become educated. So how many know what is the recommended hours of sleep each night? What's recommended for, say, our age group? Those of us that are 50 and above. Yeah, from what I've seen, when we're really young, we're supposed to get a lot. It kind of levels off, maybe not so much in our 20s and 30s, and then it goes back up again as we get older, if I remember correctly. So like definitely 9 hours of sleep a night. And so when I was reading about mattresses, and because they're treated with fire retardant chemicals, think about how many hours we're spending on our mattress, and if we're not aware about, oh, that's the thing for mattresses, that makes sense for safety issues, but certainly not for things that we're getting into our skin. The dyes that they use in clothing, that's why I chose the jeans. I had noticed one time I went to buy some jeans and even knew on the rack, I was like, what is that smell? And I picked it up and I was like, wow, that's a really strong smell. And I could tell it was the dye. So I had to choose whether or not I was going to buy that pair of jeans, or I think I did, and I went home and washed it several times, but still, that's getting into our skin. And prescriptions. Pharmaceutical drugs, you definitely want to know what's in pharmaceutical drugs. The FDA, I had a friend who's done a ton of research over the last couple of years, and she's glad to talk to anybody. Her name is Heidi, and she's still in Washington. She's really, really done a lot of research with pharmaceutical drugs, injections. She used to work at Providence Hospital in Everett, but she left that position. And the FDA is required to list ingredients. I think the FDA requires an ingredients listing on injection drugs and certainly pharmaceuticals. An acquaintance that I met here, and I know this can be a very polarizing topic, the whole vaccine issue, but her grandson has autism. The very first time I met her, some common friends said, what do you guys think of vaccines? And I thought, really, you're going to bring that up? We just met these people. Oh my goodness. Where am I going to go with this topic? Her name's Carolyn. She goes, oh no. She goes, our grandson has autism, and she shared this slide with me. So you can see what was recommended in 1962, and these are for children. And then about 20 years later to 1983, and then just a few years back in 2018. I guess the argument could be, well, yeah, there's more health issues that we need to be vaccinated from, but why are there more health issues? I mean, it can be a pretty full circle conversation. Again, knowing this can be a very polarizing subject, but this is the truth. And we had kids, and I know that what was recommended, and I know we had chosen as a family to not go that route, and the nurse would call to say, they're not updated on their vaccinations. And so I would just talk to the nurse about the reason that was in a respectful manner. And Thermosol, Thermosol is a thing. So I found this slide to be very, very powerful. And my parents are not open, at least at this point, to natural means and treating their multitude of health risks. And I think we all have people that we love when we believe that we have the answer and we know how it's worked for us and how it's helped other people. It can be heavy on our heart when we have loved ones that we see that are suffering and they're not open to hear what's worked for us, because we also have a Facebook site that has health testimonials on it. So it doesn't even have to be from us. It can be from somebody you don't know. At this time, my dad is pretty closed, but he is on a cognitive slide. So Alzheimer's is a disease. Dementia is not a disease. You can read here, it's the most common cause of dementia. So they're distinct, but also similar. Dementia is really an umbrella for brain function, confusion, memory loss. Where Alzheimer's, you can see it's irreversible. So once you've been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, considered in many ways fatal. My dad's best friend, who is like my uncle Sonny, died with complications of Alzheimer's in his late 50s. I'm in my late 50s. So he was in the Navy. He traveled the world. I know I was in the Navy and I was not up to date on my immunizations. And so in one day I got 8 shots. I'm thinking back in the 80s that they've learned more, but that couldn't have been good. And you can see here there are no drugs that can cure Alzheimer's. They're doing research for some other things. I don't know. I mean, I think with all of the knowledge out there, with all of the funding, I know that I've done a walk for Alzheimer's and, to help raise money, you would think that they would find a cure or a cause. But I think a lot of the things that we're talking about right now is it's been shown that heavy metal toxicity definitely impacts all areas of our body and certainly the brain. It deteriorates the cognitive function. So, but also, I mean, there are some other life factors, drug and alcohol addiction, of course, being overweight. There's things in our air that we're, air pollutants, vehicle exhaust, all that type of stuff. So our bodies, like I said, they're just really bombarded with things. And to not supplement, all supplement means is putting something into your body that it doesn't have. I mean, by supplementing, by really taking an aggressive approach of this, sometimes these ailments can really, I believe, reverse a lot. But the willingness has to be there. This is the good news. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. That is the best news that there is. So, and that's where I had to kind of slap myself around in my mind when I was laying there going, oh my gosh, I'm on a mattress. This is my, I was like, well, we spent more money for I don't know that it was organic, but we spent more for a, naturally made mattress. But we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and we believe that God has created our bodies to heal themselves when we give them what they need. And I remember hearing Dr. Griffin, the founder of Bastyr in Washington State. I had asked when I heard him speak, I said, well, what's the difference between this and this? And, because some people who have like lupus or MS or, all these things, of course, when we are talking with them and we suggest something and they're willing to try it and they go, well, it's not working. Well, it's, you didn't get to where you are overnight. And so you've got to stick with it. And he had said, there's a difference between a medicinal dose and a supplemental dose. He said, if someone comes into the clinic last year, and they're battling cancer, I'm going to recommend a medicinal dose. That's like, you're going to take more than what the bottle is suggesting, and it's going to take time, and you're going to be diligent, and you've got to follow the direction. Supplemental is like, oh, I'm going to take, like those of us that I have been battling some things that are being corrected. The point is that, when your body is in disease mode, which just means dis-ease, your body is not at ease, then you've got to hit it with a medicinal dose by going, oh, I forgot to take that today, or I don't even know that it's working. I've been on it for a week. You've got to keep at it like anything else. You've got to command your flesh. Take those enzymes. Take that vitamin. We're going to highlight 3. One of it is the digestive enzyme. One of it is the brain supplement, and one of it is the tea. That's the newest product that there is out there. So we're going to talk about those a little bit, and then Shelley will highlight the other products. So Shelley has said right now, because Trenant is 13 years old, the products are the absolute best. I won't compromise on these products because they all work so well and synergistically. I'm never going to not recommend starting with the Enrich. That's the digestive enzyme. What we don't realize is that most of us are suffering with digestive issues. I thought digestive issues were indigestion, heartburn, acid reflux. I didn't experience any of those, but I did have osteoarthritis, which was painful. I ended each day in pain, and I had done some eliminating of certain foods. I was working out 3 times a week. I was drinking plenty of water, and I was very frustrated because I didn't know why I was still in pain. But I didn't realize that my body wasn't breaking down the proteins from the foods that I was eating. And so my gut microbiome was out of balance until I recommended. So I liken this to when you build a house, you want a strong foundation. You want a house with good bones. Well, you want to start, Enrich, I look at it as the foundation to build upon, and then also with the other products. I use all the products as they come on board, excited for the new skincare, but I'm always going to refer somebody to the Enrich, and we have something called the pudding demo. So this is a snack pack. You can get 4 for $1. Again, ask why is it so cheap. It's probably not very good for you if it's $4. It has a shelf life of forever. And so this is the Enriched Digestive Enzyme. You can break it open just for the point of doing this pudding demo. We don't typically break it open. You just take it before eating a meal, anything cooked to process. And this is time elapsed for about 1.5 minutes. And you can see that this is taking a very gloopy, very processed, very preserved product, and it's turning it into a liquid. And this stimulates what it's doing in your stomach with the food, and it's turned it into a liquid. This helps to break down your food to its lowest molecular level and move it through your body the way it's supposed to. It's not getting stuck in your small intestine, because that is where the trouble starts. It's going to start wreaking inflammation. Chronic inflammation throughout the body is always going to cause disease. The digestive enzyme, because we're eating food that's cooked to process, whenever we eat food that's cooked to about 108 degrees or hotter, we're killing its natural enzymes, no matter if it's broccoli, no matter if it's stir fry, fresh with veggies, you're cooking the nutrients out of your food, and it's really called dead food. And so really it's recommended to take an Enrich whenever you eat anything cooked to process. We went to a farmer's market, and we had some Thai food with some good fresh vegetables, but I took enzymes before I ate that for sure. So that's the Enrich. And the second one is Focus. And so this helps with mental clarity and energy, and it's not at all the energy that you feel very zippy or anything like that. It's just a very clean energy. It's got lion's mane mushroom and B vitamins, ginkgo biloba. I think it's got yerba mate, but it's all good, clean source things that are good for your brain. People have given testimonies on this. It's helped with ADD, ADHD, migraines, if you're prone to migraines. So, and of course, with any supplement, we do not claim to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any diseases. No supplement is going to do that. But we know what it's done for us, and we know what, through the health testimonial page, what it's done for other people. And how many of us don't want to keep a sharp mind? Replenish. I became a full believer in this when I started digging into this for this particular topic. So when we were at convention in Utah, and they were talking about the Replenish, and that it's got a mushroom complex with ashwagandha and fulvic acid. I thought they were saying folic acid, because never in my life had I heard of fulvic acid. I'd never heard of such a thing. And it wasn't until we had our team dinner, Shelley, I said, oh, fulvic, I thought you were saying folic acid. And so it's really, ladies, look into fulvic acid. So the Replenish is a tea. And I know that I haven't asked for health testimonials. I'm gonna kind of back up and do that. But I know, Vicki, I think you've had a testimonial with Replenish tea, and I heard you say something about sleep. I do this too at night, because I typically am doing an herb tea at night, like a chamomile or a mint. And so it's a beverage powder. It contains this mushroom complex, ashwagandha, and fulvic acid. And fulvic acid if you start looking at it, it is good for detoxing heavy metals. And it's got a cinnamon in it. And I know that I also feel my sleep is more restful and deep when I do the fulvic, when I do this tea blend. Vicki, do you want to give a testimony, or does anybody else have a testimony? Will they replenish?
Years ago, I was used to having a night tea, and this just filled the gap, because sometimes I wake up at 2 and a testimony, I ran out of the replenish, and I'm waking up at 2. So it gives me a really sound, deep sleep, and I really appreciate that. And knowing the benefits of what it does for the body, I'm just thrilled to have it. So I ordered it again this morning.
Yes, I did too. And again, it was something that I thought, well, because I really enjoy drinking organic tea at night and herbal tea without caffeine. But it was really in digging into this, I think that this is an essential for my toolkit, especially knowing that it can, fulvic acid the studies have been shown that it helps with the heavy metals buildup in the body.
I did a study on it. In this blend is what they call shilajit. And shilajit comes from the Himalayan mountains. They've actually found it in other mountains. And it's the black. It only comes out like during the summertime. It's the black tar that oozes out of the mountains. And and so literally that's what the monks drink. And the shepherds, I think that's shepherds. I'm not really sure. But anyways, people were saying, why don't the monks ever get sick or anything like that? And it's because they have been drinking this shilajit, which is in our blend, for years. And that also is that heavy detoxing out of our bodies and stuff. So it's super powerful. I mean, just doing the study on all of the different ingredients in the tea blend that we have. And I always add a little bit of honey to it because I like it a little bit sweeter. It's super good, and it has actually given me really good night's sleep.
Important to say, too, all of these products are formulated for Trinont. So these aren't products that were just pulled in. And with a scientific advisory board, too. I mean, how comforting is that to know that we have, legitimate people with degrees and years of experience that are putting their stamp of approval on all of these products.
Donna, thank you so much. You just do your research. And Donna's right. When she says if we are not breaking down what's going into our bodies, that is the first and foremost of what we need to be doing. Mm-hmm. If we're not doing that, it's just running amok all over in our bodies, and our bodies are going, okay, how do I get rid of this? Some people might think, oh, you can just go to the bathroom and you're going to get rid of it. But that's not necessarily true, because, what happens is it can get into your bloodstream. It can get all over the place, in your body. And then it starts going into places where you don't want it to go. And that's when it goes up into the brain. And it is really, really, really important with our Enrich, and that's why Donna said, first and foremost, she's going to send people to that first. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I would say we cannot live without enzymes. Our body, we only have a bank account of them, and we have used them up many times over because of our cooked and processed foods, because of all of the preservatives and everything that we're eating. When we use those up, we don't get to replenish them. Our body doesn't recreate enzymes. We need supplements to be able to help break our foods down. Enrich are the best way to do that. The mushrooms and the vitamin Bs and all of that through Focus and our teas and stuff, and then the tea with the heavy metal detox. We're doing everything works synergistically together, and that is what we want to happen. And I have felt the best that I have ever felt in my life these past 3 to 4 years. Mm-hmm. No more excuses when people say, well, it's just because I'm getting old. No, it's not. You don't have to feel that. I felt worse in my 20s because I had constipation issues all the time, right? Now here I am in my 50s and I feel way better than I ever did in my 20s. So, we hear stories like this. This is not my story. It's so many people's stories. So I love it. Yeah, really love it. So just going to take a few minutes to go over just a few other products that we have that we're excited, and then how some of us have made a little business out of this. So we have whole plant-based products. Donna talked about the enzymes and how amazing they are. We actually have a glow, and it's actually a liquid hydrolyzed type 1 collagen. And what that is actually, because it's a liquid, it instantly absorbs into the bloodstream. There's a lot of people out there, they're saying, oh, I take one from Costco, a really good one from Costco. It's a powder, and I drink it every morning, or I put it in my smoothie, whatever. But the problem with the collagens and the powders and the pills are that by the time they actually break down and get converted into the body to be a usable form, it's pretty much passed through your system. So with our collagen, it's a medical grade. We have allowed it to stay in a few hospitals because they can't find anything better than that. And it really is for hair, nails, and skin, but it is also the glue that holds us together. There is more collagen in our bones than there is calcium. A lot of people don't know that. And so even for COVID people who've been losing their hair, I had the same issue. I just did a collagen loading, and my hair just began to grow like crazy. So anyways, we have the best of the best. We literally have people, I have people, customers who haven't really quite gotten the rest of the product, but they love the collagen. So, people are all about, that's why our skincare is going to really take off. I know, because people are all about the outside look, how their skin's going to glow and all this kind of stuff. What they don't really realize is that they really need to be working on the inside as well. So it kind of, goes hand in hand. We have a product called Renew, and it actually it reduces blood glucose levels. It can reverse fatty liver diseases. It reduces inflammation in the body. It's kind of like a Pac-Man where it goes around and it literally cleans up your blood. It's really pretty powerful stuff. Sorry, that was the optimized that I just said that on. It supports healthy functions in your body, and it aids in bone health. So Boost, it improves blood flow and actually creates a nitric oxide in your blood. And it enlarges the blood vessels. So people who have poor circulation, it's great for that. We have a meal replacement, and to be honest with you, I've tried a lot of them, and I really like our meal replacements. They have they're really good for you, number one, but they're also, and they have some good bacteria in them as well to add to the gut intestines, but they're really good. And so most people, when they're trying those meal replacements, they taste chalky and everything, but these don't taste chalky. They're good to try. Mojo, I know we have people on here, my husband as well, who loves our coffee. It's the good for you coffee. Doesn't give you a high and then a real crash. It just kind of gives you a clean energy that keeps you going. We have Sue's products. Our Sue's products are like none like the others. It is the extraction process that we have a patent on, and so many people don't have this patent. And it is really, if you took it from the time, it's kind of like putting it into a Vitamix. You take the plant, you put it in the Vitamix, and then you pour it into the bottle. That's what it is. They've done an analysis before and after of the extraction, and there's absolutely no difference. We don't add anything to it. And so we get the raw, real deal. And boy, is it packs with a punch. So it's amazing stuff. I've used it. I couldn't sleep for years. The CBD actually was what really helped me out. What we don't realize is that it brings us back into homeostasis. I was pretty much against CBD for a long time, but the truth is that we are so lacking in the CBD. With CBD in our bodies, it used to grow wild. The hemp plants used to grow wild. We used to get it through our milk because the cattle would graze on it, and we would get it through the meats. And then they banned it, and then now they've just brought it back into the country many, many years later, and it falls under the THC level, falls under the Farm Bill or something like that. There's very little in it, but you have to have a little bit of it to activate the CBD. We have a balance. It's a multi-mineral vitamin, and I always say that this is kind of the unsung hero because we are all lacking in our vitamins and minerals. And what people don't realize is that we really do need these in our body. The balance has so much of what we need. And so I know whenever I went through COVID, I was really, really, really lacking in some things. And I was kind of taking balance as just kind of lackadaisical, like Donna was talking earlier saying, oh yeah, I kind of forgot. Oh, well, I don't really see a difference or whatever, And then I ended up getting COVID, and I started taking 3 to 4 times for balance. And I'm telling you what, I could just feel the difference in my body. We really do have the best on that. Focus, which is the vitamin E or vitamin B, and that Donna talked about. And then Optimize is that Pac-Man that goes through your blood and it really cleans your blood. That's what you want. You want good people who have high cholesterol. It's just really debris in the blood. And so if you can get that cleared up in the blood, that's what Optimize does. And it helps with inflammation and joint issues and stuff like that. So that's kind of all that we have I think there's a couple of them that's missing, but we do know that we have the best of the best, and we are super proud of that. There's a few of us on here that we have actually made a business out of it. It's super easy to get started in our business, and you can earn commissions. If you become a customer, if you get a customer, you can earn between 25 and 50%. You can get paid for whatever your customers buy, if you become an associate. Now, if you become a customer, great. We want you to become a customer. We want you to try the products and everything. But if you become an associate, which is super easy to do, and there's no pressure on that, we are here to help always. You can actually start earning, because I don't know about you, but we're women, and if we find something that works, like if I find a good, I don't know, whatever, a laundry detergent that works, I'm telling everyone about it, right? If I'm fixing my gut, which I did, I'm telling people about it all the time, or people ask me, they say, oh my gosh, you're how old? And well, what are you doing? Well, let me tell you, it doesn't have to be a, weird thing or anything like that. We've just made it our lifestyle. And so we just love to share with people. And that's all we do is share with people. And that's how we've built our business. Because we really feel that the products should speak for themselves, no matter what. There's a bonus. You can get 10 and 3 bonuses. Now we've changed it to, there's a 5 and 2. So if you got 10 customers and 3 associates, you'd get $1,000 a month. Or now they've done it to where you can get 5 customers and 2 associates. And that's really new, so I can't really remember how much it is. Was it $400? I'm not really sure. I can't. But anyways, you can get it, and you can just keep doing that. So it's really fun to do, and people are sick and they really need answers. They're tired of being on medications, and they're tired of taking, one medication, but then, I got a headache now. So then I got to take a medication for that. And, now I'm constipated. Now I got to take a medication for that. One medication leads usually to the other medications. And so that's where our products really, our supplements really stand out, is because they're so good and you don't have the side effects. And so that's what we love about it. And that's why we're all on this journey. And then the best part about it is that we, our first position, we call it the Jeep position. It's the first position. And so what happens is that, you are qualified to earn a Jeep, and so get paid to drive a Jeep. And so Tom and I, and there's, several on here as well, we've been getting paid to drive a Jeep for over 4 years now. We figured it out, and I figured it out several months back, and we have 2 Jeeps, but we've been paid, I think it's been at the time, which was several months back, was $42,000. So that's quite a bit. That's the journey that we've been on. We've never made it. We never had a car payment before. And now, even though we have a car payment, we don't even have to make the car payment. So anyways, it's kind of been nice because, they want an incentive program, and it's the first position it's the very first position. Okay, so I think I'm done here. I'll stop here. So this has been the exciting journey that we've been on, and we love it, and we're gaining our health back. Again, it doesn't mean that we are, that we don't battle with things, because there's things that come up or whatever, but we have some answers, and that's the beauty of it all, is that here we are we're all ranges of age group here. We're healthy. We're getting our health back, and we're gaining. And so that's what's really exciting about the journey.